happening, people? How's it going? How's everyone doing? Let me know how you lot are feeling on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. You guys know what it is. Daily dose of Mina every day, 4 p.m. UK time. Damn, I'm frozen. I'm back now. Okay, I'm back now. I really need to upgrade my camera equipment ASAP. But big up to everyone locked in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. We've done it, guys. We've done it. We hit 15K yesterday. I guess everyone was so excited about the Mbeumo news that everyone decided that they wanted to sub to my channel. So big up to everyone. If you are new here, welcome to the community. You guys know what it is, man. Be respectful in the chat. Always good vibes, but we appreciate debate and we appreciate challenging everybody's opinions here. Don't get personal. Challenge their opinion, not the person. You guys know what it is. Let me see what you lot saying in the chat, because we got so much to talk about. Big up to Sully straight away with the first super chat of the afternoon. Says Mbwems, congrats on 15K. Next up 20K. Inshallah, I will do a Q&A for the community. 15K is crazy because I never really thought I'd ever hit 10K. I can't lie, guys. So to hit 15K, and I only hit 10K earlier in the year. 20K was the goal before the end of the actual calendar year. 15K was the goal by the end of the transfer window. But we did it. We did it, Joe. We did it. But we got so much to talk about, guys, because Bruno Fernandes news, Jadon Sancho news. Obviously, last night you guys saw the reaction on United View live and direct. And Mbeumo chooses Manchester United. So we got to talk about that. Some news about Anthony coming out. Some news about Højlund coming out. It's a crazy transfer window, guys, and we are only like a couple of days into it. Like the fact that the transfer window is going to close by next week, and it feels like there's a lot happening. And Laurie Whitwell, yeah, here you go. Laurie Whitwell also saying there's a chance for Osimhen. Please, if there's anything that I wish would happen, United get Cunha in and they get Mbeumo in and they get Victor Osimhen. Goodness. Big up to DJ in the chat. Says, wow, man, it's been so long. I'm here to say Bruno stays, and I'm really happy. I think there's a lot of happy people in the fan base, but I've seen a lot of unhappy people. I'm seeing a mix of reaction. So we're going to talk about that, of course. I think we'll probably actually start with talking about Bruno Fernandes in a lot of depth. Big up to Koala. Says, big up, Mina. Congrats on 15K. Much love. Big up to El Captain. Bruno is passion. Do you guys, you know what? Let's talk about Bruno. You know, I was going to go through all the comments, but everyone's just talking about Bruno in the chat. So let's just get to talking about Bruno Fernandes. Earlier this morning, it's funny, you know, guys, you know what I realized? Fabrizio Romano, one thing he doesn't want to do is let David Ornstein always have one up on him in the window. And guys, the only person I have my post notifications turned on for on Twitter is David Ornstein. I don't have my post. I don't have post notifications turned on for anything except for DMs and for David Ornstein's tweets. Because when David Ornstein drops something, you know it's legit. 9 times out of 10 it's happening, and he only speaks when it's necessary. But Fabrizio Romano comes through today with the news saying that Bruno Fernandes has rejected Al-Hilal's proposal. Now, I think there's a lot in the wording that I think we really need to look at. Yeah, I think there's a lot in the wording that we really have to look at. Number one, I'm going to start with the fact that this was about 3 weeks in the works. I mean, if you knew that you were going to reject it for this long, you should have just done it a long time ago. Number one. So exactly the wording from Fabrizio is Bruno Fernandes has rejected Al-Hilal proposal. By the way, he dropped this at 8:01. Like, I was already awake. 8:01 on the dot this morning, he dropped it. He says, Bruno Fernandes has rejected Al-Hilal's proposal despite crazy contract proposal from the Saudi Pro League club. Bruno wants to continue playing football in Europe. Man United captain wants to play at a top level in Europe. Decision made. Now, that last part is the interesting part to me, the part where he says he wants to play at a top level in Europe. Does that open the door to suggest that maybe his future is in Europe, but just not at Manchester United? Now, for some context, guys, Bruno Fernandes' contract runs till 2027. Then he's got a 1-year option to pick up. So he's got, if you want to say, 3 years left on his contract. Now, I'm in two ways about this. And the first thing is that, of course, this financial opportunity would have been an opportunity to rebuild, right, with Manchester United. Give them the financial opportunity to bring in at least 3 new players this window, number one. Number two, he's going to lose his sell-on value as the years go past. You know, he's got 3 years in his contract, 31 years old. He's going to lose his sell-on value, which means he might stay at Manchester United for 3 seasons and he might run his contract down. So there's no financial opportunity or financial gain for Manchester United from this, right? From him staying. Now, I've seen people saying that Man United should force him out and they should, force him to accept the offer and tell him we're selling you. You don't treat your players like that, especially, can I say, when a player hasn't done anything wrong. He has not done anything wrong. It's not like, the whole situation that has played out in public with Garnacho and the things that played out in public with Sancho and whatnot. Bruno Fernandes hasn't done anything wrong. So there is no reason for Manchester United to push him out. Number one. That's number two, sorry. And number three, Ruben Amorim has reportedly had private conversations with him to convince him to stay, because he's even done it in public. He's publicly said, I want this guy to stay. He is, an integral part of our future here. Now, let me see what you guys are saying, because I know everyone's got questions. I know everyone has some concerns, because some of my concerns is, okay, is Bruno going to be at 8 or one of the 2 midfielders? Is he going to excel there? I do agree with the fact that you don't push out a player that has been a good servant to the club. That's most important. But also, you have to look at the financial opportunities for Manchester United. So I'm kind of in 2 ways. One thing I don't agree is I've seen people upset at the fact that he's not leaving. It's crazy. Big up to James. Says, big up, Minna. Congrats on 15K. Great fun yesterday. I know, guys. Listen, when James speaks, you listen. Open your ears, guys. That's all I have to say. When James speaks, sometimes he's speaking in code, but, look at the underlying message that he's sharing with everyone. Big up to Mads with the super chat as well. Says, big up. Shout out to 15K. I appreciate it, Mads. Much, much appreciated. Thank you for the love. Let me see what you lot are saying on this Bruno stuff. DJ, who is a big supporter of Bruno, I imagine, says, people are saying back the manager, but still want Bruno to go when the manager keeps stressing how important Bruno is. Let's not forget he said in an interview he wished he had 10 more Brunos. Do you think that he wants Bruno's to stay because maybe he feels... I'm trying to figure out why Ruben Amorim has publicly said what he said about Bruno. I think the manager has spoken a lot about culture. And when you're speaking about the culture within the players, I think Bruno is a good example of probably what you want around your players. Your younger players, your more inexperienced players. A player like Bruno Fernandes, of course, I think, personally, is the kind of player that you want around. Because it's not only what he does for the players, because, let's take it back to when Joshua Zirkzee was booed off. Yeah, when Joshua Zirkzee was booed off against Newcastle and he was in the stands because he was serving a ban. He left and went down to the locker room to speak to him and tell him, listen, you need to go back outside. Do not let this get to you. You can say what you want about Bruno, but what he does off the pitch in terms of his importance to the players, to the staff at Manchester United, he's done a lot for the staff with all these Ineos cuts. I kind of understand why Ruben Amorim says publicly he wants Bruno to stay and why he says, I want 10 Brunos, because we talk about this idea of the culture change, at Manchester United. And you can say what you want about Bruno on the pitch in terms of the fact that he whines a lot and, he gets under everyone's skin and he annoys the refs, etc. But he's the kind of guy that you would hate to play against. And I can't lie, you would want to have that kind of personality on your team. That's just my opinion. Big up to Sully says, I can't lie. I can't believe Bruno hasn't been infected by the Man United dressing room. He deserves to try and win something with us. I think about that all the time. Like, I think about the fact that, he's been here for 5 years now. If you're counting half the season that he was here as a full season. He's already accumulated a lot in terms of GA. When people speak about Bruno, they speak about GA, right? But I don't think they speak about his influence in the team off the pitch. Like, this is a guy that has been here through multiple different managers. This is his 3rd manager now, yeah? And you've never heard, when we have seen dressing room leaks and people talking about, reporting about the culture in the club and whatnot, it's never been reported about Bruno undermining a manager or Bruno undermining players, etc., etc. It's never been mentioned. That's never been mentioned. And I feel like, especially over the last 12 months with Ineos taking over and all this negative PR that Ineos have, Bruno has always been the savior of whatever Ineos have done. Whether it was with the women's team and, they couldn't take family, etc., to the Women's FA Cup. him and Tom Heaton suggest that, they pay for it from the dressing room fines. Whether it was staff not being able to travel to the FA Cup last year, we will pay for it. Staff not being able to travel to the Europa League, Ruben Amorim saying, I will pay for it. Bruno is having dinner and taking taking staff out to lunch that have been long-standing servants of Manchester United who have been made redundant. You can't get that right now, like that kind of authenticity in a player's personality. You can't get that for me in a team that has been struggling with culture shift. But I also think of the rebuild. Like, we have to have the honest conversations about the rebuild. Is it much difference the weather of Saudi Arabia and Manchester? 100%. 100%. The worst weather in Saudi you would probably get is like 20, 25 degrees at the worst, I think. In the deep part of winter, the best weather you get in Manchester is probably 20, 25. So the worst in Saudi in terms of the weather is the best in Manchester. I don't think it's him going to Saudi in terms of family is a big part, but I also think that there's one thing that I think about is the World Cup next year, and you look at what Portugal have in that midfield. If I'm not wrong, João Neves, Vitinha, all of them, man, that's guaranteed starters for Portugal. So for me, in my opinion, Bruno maybe feels like he can't leave this season and go to Saudi and risk not being in the World Cup squad next year, or risk not being a starter in the World Cup team next year. He can't afford to do that. So I kind of understand why, I'm trying to be logical, right? I'm trying to look at it from both perspectives. But I do want to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So please do let me know. Let me see. Bruno Sell would have got Osimhen, Mannion, and Wharton. I don't think Mike Mannion was ever coming to Manchester United, excuse me. He's been linked to Chelsea for the best part of the last couple of months, and it sounds like Chelsea have opened talks with AC Milan to sign him, and Enzo Maresca is pushing to get him. So I don't think, and also is being briefed by the Athletic that Manchester United are not prioritizing a goalkeeper, and if an opportunity does arise, they will look into it, but it's not necessarily a necessity. Isn't Bruno part of the culture that created the dressing room? I don't think so. Well, this idea of the dressing room culture is only what we're being fed through leaks and through our own eyes of perception, how we perceive everything at Manchester United. I don't think Bruno's been part of the idea that Manchester United has been a negative dressing room. When I think of that, and I think of the examples, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think of Bruno, unfortunately. But I am genuinely thinking about where this leaves Manchester United in terms of this rebuild. Because like I say all the time, like, everybody entertains the idea of a rebuild, but when it's in your face, people shy away from it if it consists of their favorite players being sold. Now, I've already raised my point of concern, which is 3 years left on his deal. Well, 2 years plus 1. And are you ever going to get an offer like this for him? Next summer, are you going to get another offer or a potential offer of 100 million euros for Bruno Fernandes? No, you won't. The thing that I will say Manchester United have done is, there's 2 things that Manchester United have done that I think has changed the way that this has played out. Number one, I think the manager publicly saying that he wants him to say it, and it's not just once, he's said it multiple times publicly. I think that has played a part in that, because Bruno feels like he's wanted here. But also, I think it's this idea that Bruno Fernandes is very integral and he can play across different parts of Amorim's system. Now, when I think of maybe what Man United might look like next season, and with these reports of Mbeumo and then Cunha being announced, and then potentially a striker, I think, are you telling me Bruno is going to be the partner to Ugarte or the partner to Kobe in the middle of the pitch? Because I, for one, have seen this season that when Bruno starts the game in the deeper role, he struggles a little bit. But when he gets shifted there in the game, say 60th, 70th minute, he flourishes. We've seen that time and time again this season, right? If I was to pick my 2 10s and we got Bruno and Mbeumo, Cunha, I know who I'm picking. Now, the only way I see Bruno playing as a 10 in this system is if Cunha plays up top and United don't sign a striker. But I am kind of thinking, okay, where does this leave Bruno Fernandes in this squad? And there's still kind of a lot of if, buts, or maybes because, you know, the transfer window is still panning out and we still don't know what United are actually going to end up with. But there's a lot of questions that I have, guys. I'm not going to lie. He won't play 6, he'll play 8. That's what I'm saying. He's going to partner Ugarte, but Ugarte is expected to probably be playing as the deeper midfielder out of the two. When he has played partnering someone in the middle of the pitch, he's always been slightly more advanced, but not as advanced as a 10. You know, and for me personally, I think Bruno is a phenomenal player, and I said this years ago. I remember on United View. This is when Ineos/Qatar talks were happening, and we didn't know who was taking over. And I said, if Bruno wants to succeed at, you know, in the future of Manchester United and be an integral part, he has to kind of rein in a lot of his behavior on the pitch, which is, you know, the erraticness. He needs to be more responsible on the ball. He needs to be those kind of midfielders that you can rely on. Look at, and I keep referencing this, but look at the Champions League final, PSG's, I think it was their 3rd or their 4th goal. Doué's 2nd goal that they score comes from Fabian Ruiz in the deep part of in the deep part of the pitch, practically in their own 3rd, lays it off to Vitinha. Vitinha kind of comfortably, you know, wriggles his way through, plays it off to a defender, runs into the space, picks it back up, and bam, drives through. Can you imagine Bruno Fernandes doing something like that if he's playing in an altered role for Manchester United? And that's my question to you guys. Can you imagine Bruno Fernandes being able to have, you know, because Bruno can push with the ball, but when it comes to using his physicality or trying to use his body physically, he gets thrown off the ball way too easily. And that is just one kind of example that I'm kind of highlighting in that point. Big up to Sully, says too many people outraged on Bruno not leaving. Oh, that was not for me. That's in reference to Lil Yo-Yo's comment. Amarim's double pivot is crap, regardless who he plays in it. But at least with Cunha and Mbeumo, will score more goals. So what is it? Is the consensus like it's okay if we're crap in midfield because we've got Cunha and Mbeumo? James says Bruno's got to really adjust his out of possession for any partnership to work, for sure. I agree. I totally agree. That's probably how I'm trying to understand where Bruno fits in with Amarim right now, because, you know, I don't know. Let's get a consensus, guys. Just in the chat quickly, just tell me, are you happy that he's staying, or are you sad that he didn't accept it? Just say happy, sad, because I'm trying to gauge everyone in the chat's feeling around this, because I've seen some mind-blowing opinions today. Like, I've seen people pretty much distraught at the fact that he's not leaving. You know, I've seen them distraught at the fact that he's not leaving, but then I'm seeing people rejoicing in the fact that he's staying, and I'm like, I think I'm one of the few that are in the middle. Not in the middle like sitting on the fence, but a part of me is happy that he's staying in terms of the cultural part of Manchester United right now, but a part of me is sad because I really wanted this rebuild to happen, and I know that it has to happen with, you know, the departures of people like Rashford, people like Sancho, people like Garnacho, people like Bruno. It has to be funded some way, somehow. Michael says, I'm happy, very happy he's buying into the rebuild. Happy. I like Bruno, but it would have secured our rebuild. That's pretty much how I feel. Fully happy / sad. I think I wouldn't be surprised if people are feeling happy and sad at the same time. Redwan says neutral, but I would have preferred if you were sold so we can rebuild even more. But again, I'm neutral, so who cares? Paul says, I'm devastated. Devastated is a crazy word to use. Neutral, sad, distraught. You lot are using some crazy adjectives, man. Happy. PS just says Bruno needs to go. Neutral, happy, sad. So yeah, it's a mix. Uthman says happy because Ineos would have signed some bums. One thing I will say is that we haven't really been linked to any midfielders, right? We haven't really been linked to many midfielders in terms of this summer window. I think we've been linked to, who have we been linked to? Really, the only one is that Man United were looking into signing Wharton, but this was months ago. Other than that, there's a young guy at Rennes that I really like. Oh, I forgot his name. Hold on. His name is... He's Algerian kid. No, he's not at Rennes, sorry. He's at... Give me a second. Give me a second, guys. People are saying unhappy. Edison looks like he's at Lille, sorry. Edison looks like he's heading to Saudi because he was the alternative. Ayub Bouadi, he's a young Moroccan. I think he's Algerian, actually. Is he Algerian? No, he's French. Okay, but he's Algerian. Like, his background is from Algeria, I think. Oh, Morocco. His country of origin is Morocco, but he's playing for France. He's playing for France. Baller. Guys, if Manchester United want to go down the path of what they did with Lenny Yoro, then this kid has to be a target. And they've already got a good relationship, right, with Lille after signing Lenny Yoro. If they want to go down that path of signing another young talent that's got some first team experience, that has a high ceiling, maybe not at the price tag of Lenny Yoro, and he's a midfielder, by the way, he's a midfielder. If they want to go down that route, I would absolutely go for Ayub Bouadi. I'll be sad if anyone snatches him up. But I feel like that right now about pretty much everyone, because all my favorite players are going to other teams. Let's talk about this guy here. Well, like, humiliation in the nation. Serious humiliation for this guy. Like, I put out a tweet earlier today saying, what went wrong with Jadon Sancho? What went wrong when Manchester United? I remember being so excited about Jadon Sancho joining Manchester United. And we chased him for what, 12 months before we actually signed him? I remember the summer we were meant to sign him, we didn't sign him. And then we signed him the next summer. And he was one of the most sought after youngsters in Europe, yeah? And I think he had an expected trajectory of, going to the top, being one of the best players. And now a club is paying money to send you back. They said back to receiver, all because you wouldn't take lower wage demands. Now, it's been reported, David Ornstein put it out earlier today that Jadon Sancho is expected to leave Chelsea when his contract ends after an agreement could not be reached for a permanent move due to personal terms. Now, for some context, I think Chelsea were paying about 40% of his wages, and they did not want to hurt their wage structure. We looked at it on stream the other day. Their most highest paid player is Reece James, who's on about 250, and then only like 2 people or 3 people at Chelsea earn 200k plus. Nobody else earns above 200k. If he was to go in at Chelsea on the wages that he's on at Manchester United, he is going to be classed as one of the highest paid players at Chelsea. And the reason why they said return to sender, is because they do not want to impact their wage structure. They don't want to break their wage structure, and he did not want to accept it. That is the reports. So as a result, Chelsea will have to pay a £5 million penalty charge, and they're happy to do that. They're happy to pay 5 million and not pay 25 million plus whatever wages he was demanding. Now, I'm annoyed about this. But also, I'm thinking, firstly, who on earth, this is what happens when you're just so desperate to get players out of the door. I don't know who negotiated this idea of having an obligation to buy after a number of appearances, but then also you can have the option to send them back. That's not an obligation then. That's an option. They had an option to buy for 25 million and then an option to send back for 5 million. And they picked up the option of 5 million. They didn't want to pay 25 million. This is what happens when there is a toxic environment at a club and you just want to get a player out of the door by any means necessary, right? That Dortmund loan did him good, I think, in terms of driving up his potential transfer fee. But I don't think there was enough suitors for him. And because at the end of the day, guys, he's probably going to ride out his contract at Manchester United because he's entitled to his salary. United should never have given him that contract. They probably never. The problem is they gave a 21-year-old off the back of, some 2 great seasons at Dortmund. They gave him Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Ibrahimovic money. Like they gave him an absurd salary. His contract runs out in a few weeks. No, Jadon Sancho, I think he got a year left on his contract. I'm pretty sure he's got a year left. Yeah, so he's got a year left on his contract at Manchester United. His contract expires next year. So if Man United can't find anyone to buy him, and you're not getting a lot of money for him this summer window. Last summer, you could have got 25, 30 at best. This year, maybe 15. Maybe 15 because of his wages. And otherwise, he's probably going to be like, you know what? I'm not getting into the England. I'm not getting into the England squad regardless. You know, that World Cup is gone. He's probably like, I'm happy to sit back, relax. That's fine. You don't have to put me in your match day squad, and I'm happy to train by myself. I don't know what the extent of the situation will be. But one thing I do think is that Ineos are so financially obsessed with fixing Manchester United that surely they can't let that happen. Surely they cannot let that happen where he sits out this season because they can't find a decent destination that will pay decent fees for him. And the fact that nobody's queuing up to buy him, I think says a lot. I think that says a lot. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo, been a member for 17 months, says that freedom fighter got arrested. So calling him a freedom fighter is mad. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo with the super chat. Thank you, Yo-Yo, says, Minna, can Saudi free the freedom fighter? Well, Ben Jacobs did say. And one thing about Ben Jacobs when it's coming to the Saudi news, maybe except for the Bruno thing, because he said Bruno was edging close to accepting it. He's got his Saudi sources, right? And one thing that he has said on United View, so if you haven't checked the video out, go check the video out on UV that he did with Flex. He said that there is some Saudi interest for him. Now, I'm not going to lie, guys, yeah? I'm going to let me just look at the teams, the Saudi Pro League's teams, yeah? I don't think Jadon Sancho has clout like that in Saudi. I don't think, personally, from my experience of going to Saudi and, you know, watching Saudi football, I don't think they are excited about the idea of him being in Saudi. I don't think there's anyone that would be like, yo, Sancho, no. Like, even players like Steven Bergwijn, he don't really have clout. Like, he's in Saudi. He don't really have clout like that in Saudi because he's playing for Al-Ittihad, and Al-Ittihad have a lot more players in terms of stars, right? Looking at the teams in Saudi, yeah? I just have to bring this up because these are like the big teams. Al-Ahli is a big team. Al-Ittifaq is a decent team. My friend plays there. They're a decent team. Al-Fatah, not really. They're not really a top-sided team. Al-Faya, not really a top-sided team. Al-Hilal, top team. Al-Ittihad, one of the top teams. Al-Khalij is a mid-table team. Al-Khulud, mid-table team. Al-Nasr is a top-sided team, but they haven't won nothing. Al-Ukhdud, mid-table. All of these teams. Al-Qadsiya is on the top side of the table, but outside of the Al-Ahlis and the Al-Hilals and the Al-Ittihads, etc. Al-Shabab, nope. Al-Ta'woon, nope. So I'm looking at a lot of these teams and I'm thinking, brother, Jadon Sancho, probably your only hope if you want to go and play football, if there's genuine Saudi interest, the only way I see you going to Saudi is if a newly promoted team comes up. That's the only way that I see him going to Saudi, is if a newly promoted team comes up. No way. Saudi cannot. I cannot imagine that they will pay his wage demands. Let me change my camera because my camera keeps glitching out. Let me change my camera quickly. There you go. We back. Okay, cool. I just don't see them paying those wage demands for him personally. Neom is the only team that I can think of. Neom is the newly promoted team that's coming up. That's it. I'm sure Saudi would pay 200k a week. They will pay 200k a week to players that they think has like sellability. Is that even a word? Did I just make a word up? Sellability, like you've got something like, and also you're gonna come and play ball properly. I just think where did things go wrong, man? I remember when this is probably one player that I'm like, where did it go wrong? I feel like, like parents when they have a child and the child ends up going down the wrong path and they're thinking, where did I go wrong? That's how I feel when I'm thinking about Jadon Sancho, or I'm talking about Jadon Sancho. I'm just saying to myself, where did this all go wrong? Firstly, doing gun fingers for a celebration. What? But when he first joined Manchester United back in however long ago it was, I can't believe it's been that long since Jadon Sancho joined. I just feel like What went wrong? That's the question that I keep asking myself. I feel so bad. Such a talent. It didn't go wrong. Minna, he is shit. I think he has been crap at Manchester United. That's no doubt. That's no doubt. His time at Manchester United has been underwhelming. Like when I speak about Jadon Sancho, and I remember last summer. I remember last summer saying he should go to outside of England, because it seems like in England there's distractions. And I'm laughing. I was laughing after the Europa Conference League, remember? Because I remember saying, why is why is he celebrating, knowing that you probably are not staying there? Like, I know, you know, we all know you are probably not staying there. I remember defending Sancho at Old Trafford, and everyone on my row cussed him before he called Ten Hag a liar. He lost me from there. He's been decent at Chelsea, but not enough to break the wage structure. That's why I understand. For me, it's like, read the room. If you know you have not been good enough in terms of staying and earning an outrageous amount of money, take the pay cut. For me, I don't know, guys. Are we speaking from an outsider perspective? Yeah. When I'm saying, if you really wanted to play there and you really want to get your career back on track, you would have accepted the pay cut. Am I speaking from a place of like a non-football mind? Because it's the same with the Bruno thing. I'm thinking, how can you not accept £64 million a year? How can you not do it? I would have done it. And I'm thinking, if I was in Sancho's situation and, you know, I'm 25 years old and, you know, basically I'm the butt of everyone's jokes online when it comes to being a bad player, I need to prove myself. And I don't have another World Cup I might not have another World Cup in me. So I have the option to take a pay cut to stay at Chelsea. It would have been a massive pay cut. Apparently, they wanted to offer him around 100 to 140, which, again, if we look at Chelsea's salary structure, that is not outrageous. It's not an outrageously low. Leave me alone, man. Of course I'm using an ad blocker, man. Go away. I hate when websites tell me to stop using ad blockers. Because what do you mean random pop-ups are coming up? Like, sometimes I think about something in my head, like I want to buy a pair of trainers, guys. I'll think it in my head. And then I'll be on my computer and suddenly I got a pop-up of those trainers. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's weird. It's weird. Anyways, this is their wage structure. They were offering him around reportedly 100 to 140, which is more than half of a pay cut of what he earns at United, right? But if you're looking at their wage structure, there's only 3 players that earn 200 million. Everyone else after that, he would be within the range of people like Cole Palmer, Mr. Starboy of Chelsea. You would be earning the same. Tosin Adarabioyo, who joined them on a free, so probably, you know, it was they were happy to pay him 120k because he joined them on a free. If you, and again, maybe I'm speaking from, I need to be a bit more understanding when I'm speaking about Jadon Sancho in this situation, but I'm just thinking, if you really wanted to prove a point and you got a chip on your shoulder, because you got a point to prove to a lot of people, right? You've got a point to prove to a lot of people. Surely you would have taken that pay cut. But also, I think, where was his future even at Chelsea? Where is his future at where is his future at Chelsea? It's ridiculous to think these players are going to take a pay cut. Would you take a pay cut at your job if I'm getting paid like 5 million a year and they tell me take 3 million a year? Yeah, I'd take a pay cut because it's still 3 million. I'm not rich. But also, that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking from a different place. I don't know, you know, I can't speak from a place of a footballer who earns a lot of money because that's not me. So I'm speaking from the outside of the club. I can't even get in. You know, do you get it? So that's why I'm trying to be understanding from both sides. But what does Manchester United do now? That is what I want to know. What do Manchester United do now that Jadon Sancho has been hit with the return to sender? Because it's either he runs out his contract and leaves on a free and gets a big signing bonus wherever he goes, or Man United get him out of the door this summer by any means necessary. Whether it's them paying out his... Because remember, Man United paid the difference. I don't know if you lot remember, but it was reported at the time when Aaron Wan-Bissaka left Manchester United, there was a difference in wages between what they were offering and what he was contracted at Man United. So Man United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka basically refused to leave until Manchester United agreed to pay the difference to him. I don't know if that's something that can happen for Jadon Sancho, because imagine he goes to somewhere like, let's look at Dortmund's wage structure, yeah? If he goes to Dortmund, and Dortmund are looking to get rid of Gittins, so I don't know if that opens up a pathway. I don't know if that opens up a pathway for Jadon Sancho to join them. But if we're looking at these man, yeah, he's not getting this money at what's it called, guys? He's not getting. Look at Dortmund's wage structure. The guy didn't want to accept a pay cut at Chelsea. I don't think he's going to do it at Dortmund. The only way I see him accepting this at Dortmund is if he gets a signing on bonus and he joins them on a free. Are you guys against the idea of Jadon Sancho being integrated back into Manchester United for the season? Is anybody here for it? I'm just trying to be devil's advocate slightly, guys. I'm just slightly trying to be devil's advocate, because I've seen people saying, you know, he would be a good backup option to Mbeumo and Cunha and Ahmad, etc. Sancho only has 1 year left, so it might be due a payoff as well. Could be 3 to 5 million, especially since he's seemingly so intent on getting his money back. It might be one of them ones, James, where they just say, you know what, Chelsea paid us 5 million, you take your 5 million, you take the 5 million, get out of the club. And it's a win-win for him if United pay him out this summer and he leaves, because then he joins a new team, gets a signing bonus, and maybe joins on lower wages. But also, what team is really going to want to go near a player who has just been paid out to leave Manchester United? All of you guys are saying no. Everybody's saying no. I would do a swap with Dortmund, add 25 million for Schlotterbeck. This ain't Football Manager, bro. Sancho's profile fits the system, but it's so sour he can't stay. Pay him out with that 5 million we're getting from Chelsea. Basically, exactly what I just said. That freedom comment alone is a reason enough to never see him in a United shirt. You know what? I agree. As much as I wanted Sancho to flourish at United, for me, I feel like when he said that freedom, who was it that he put it on? It was Rashford's, right? It was Rashford's Instagram that he commented on it when he left to Villa. Well, this is crazy. This is absolutely mental. I'm trying to find it just so that I can bring it up on the screen, but there's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from this. You've burned every bridge. It wasn't bad enough what happened when Erik ten Hag left. It wasn't bad enough everything that happened with you when Erik ten Hag. But this, I think, is the icing on the cake. This is funny though. It's so jokes, because now that has backfired on him, because everyone knows him. And when I see people saying Jadon Mandela, do you know how much I laugh? Do you know how much I laugh when people call him things like Jadon Mandela? It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. But let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I'm probably in the replies. Koala's in the replies, gassing it up for facts. Big up to Isaac in the chat as well. He lost me when he got to Dortmund and started kissing the badge. Nah, okay, you can do all of that, especially because he was at Dortmund before United. For me, what was the final straw for me? Do you guys remember? I was on KG's channel. Yeah, I was on KG's channel not defending him, but I was saying, listen, I don't want him to go to Chelsea. He can go anywhere else, but I don't want him to go to Chelsea. I'm looking back at that in hindsight, and I'm like, yo, he didn't even pop off at Chelsea. So why was I even so adamant that he shouldn't go to a Premier League team? Maybe just because I felt like no one should leave United and go to a Premier League, not to a direct Big Six rival, which is why I probably wasn't that phased about Villa. Hakimi didn't celebrate out of respect for Inter, though. That is dumb. I can't lie. I didn't agree with Hakimi not celebrating. I know they put him on. They gave him an opportunity when he left. I'm sorry, it's the Champions League final, bro. You just scored the first goal in the Champions League final. Get there. Go to Leverkusen. I think Erik ten Hag would rather eat shit. Excuse my language, but I think he'd rather do something like that than to buy Jadon Sancho. I don't know where Jadon Sancho's future is. Honestly speaking, guys, I do not know where Jadon Sancho's future is. But what I do know is it's not at Manchester United. It's definitely not. Mina asked yesterday, do you think Rashford will be at the club next season? Has that changed? I don't think so. I don't think he will be at the club next season. I think we need to accept the fact that when people have had crazy problems with the club, I think we need to accept that it's better sometimes for them to leave rather than to reintegrate them into the team, even if they're a player that I like, and I like Marcus Rashford, and I think even with Mbeumo and Cunha coming in, he's a player that we could absolutely utilize. But I think we need to accept that it's just not like don't try to fix something that's not fixable. Like unfortunately, I would love Marcus Rashford to come back to United and just be a great player again, be a great team player, get 25, 30 GA, etc. But also I'm in the thought of when something is when the relationship is like beyond damaged. And I'm not gonna lie, I've said this all the time. I do feel like Ineos are getting Marcus Rashford out because of the wage stuff, because of how much he earns, right? This whole he doesn't work hard enough in training, there might be some truth to it. There really might be some truth to it. But I think we need to accept sometimes that it's okay for things to end. Like, it might not have ended in the way that we wanted it to end. And I will be the first to admit it. I will be the first to admit it, that Marcus Rashford has not turned out how I wanted it to turn out. For me, in my head, Marcus Rashford was meant to lift a Prem, a Champs, everything with Man United. It's not going to happen. We have to accept it. We've got to move on. But on the brighter side, Mbeumo is coming to Manchester United, guys. And we sat here yesterday on stream and the day before that talking about the prospect of bringing in Mbeumo. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I was saying I have a weird feeling about it if Manchester United, if he is moving towards Newcastle, then Man United need to do something miraculous to bring him in. Mina, your reaction yesterday at UV after the Austin bomber killed me. You know what's killing me, guys? It's gone viral on Twitter. That clip has gone viral on Twitter. And now, if Mbeumo doesn't score for like 15 games, they're gonna load that clip up. But the good thing is, there's so many people on the clip that you don't know who to watch. That's the good thing. If it was just like 2 of us or 3 of us on it, it would have been horrible. But there's like 9 or 8 or 9 of us on it. So Mbeumo can't let us down. He can't. There's too much on it. I don't want to be used as a meme. I do not want to be used as a meme. I've seen, by the way, that what makes this Mbeumo stuff even better is the rival tears that I've been seeing over the last 24 hours. Who is it that was saying, here, KG was, who is it that was saying in your son moving mad or something like that? Because that's what everyone was laughing at from the clip. Everybody was laughing at the fact that someone was saying, "Oh my God, Ineos." Who is it that was saying it? I cringed so much, guys. I haven't watched the clip back. I can't watch that clip back. Oh man, I thought we signed Yamal when I saw your reaction. If you guys like over the last couple of days, I've been skeptical about the fact that United could get this over the line. Like, I've been so skeptical. So I was very shocked. That was a legit reaction. I was actually shocked. My TikTok has 50+ posts from rivals fans Steven about it. Wow, maybe he can save you from relegation. I've seen people saying, what makes it so funny? I've seen people saying, oh, he only goes to teams below Brentford in the table. Okay, if that's what makes you feel better, yeah. Oh, it's only because you guys are doubling his wages. Okay, cool. Manchester United are offering competitive wages. Okay, cool. That's fine. What's next? Oh, he's only going to Manchester United because I saw someone say that he's only going to Manchester United because he can't bench Saka, but he can bench Ahmad. Come on, guys. Come on. Like, come on. Yeah, wait, how is this allowed? People are saying, how is this allowed? Man United turn over the most revenue in the Premier League. I'm seeing Newcastle fans saying, oh, no Champions League, and they have to pay him a lot of money. I think that's what is probably the best part of this whole Mbeumo news. It's not the fact that United are getting Mbeumo. It's the fact that the way that people are showing their asses right now. Excuse my language, but rival fans are showing their asses right now when it comes to the way that they're talking about this. You can feel the bitterness in their responses. You can feel. I saw someone saying that United need to be investigated for PSR, from a PSR and FFP perspective. United need to be investigated. The same Man United that are clutching onto every piece of money that they have, and they are trying their best to pay in breakdowns. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's only a matter of time, can I say, that we start seeing things like when we were linked to Cunha, when we signed Cunha, sorry, it was suddenly, oh, he's got the most walking percentage, but soon they're gonna be counting the follicles in Mbeumo's hair, saying that Mbeumo has the least number of follicles in the Manchester United squad, therefore he can't header the ball. That is gonna be some nonsense like that. There is gonna be some nonsense like that. Mina, are you hearing any transfer news with our women's team? No, because mainly because the Euros is approaching. There's not going to be much transfer news. I think I'll start hearing stuff in the latter stages of probably June, early July. Probably that's when things will start to pick up because people are on international duty right now. I do know what United are looking to sign. And I've heard a couple of names. So maybe I'll do a video about it. For sure. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat as well. Ridwan, I can't see that link. Let me click it here. Not this name popping up again, man. Bloody hell. How many likes are we on, guys? All right, we just surpassed 100 likes, guys. Be sure to hit the like button. No freeloaders in the chat, man. You guys know the rules. You come in, you say hi to everyone in the chat. You hit the like button. Is like that should be the first thing you actually do. I don't even think you should say hi to me. Don't even say hi to me. Hit the like button and then say hi to everybody. If you want to join the membership club as well, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, the ever-growing channel. We finally reached 15k. And you know what, guys? For me, job's not done. Next, 16k. That's what we just hit 15k, and the first thing I'm thinking of, okay, we need to hit 16k. So big up to all of you guys, especially all the newcomers here on the channel. If you want to support the channel, like I said, you can join the membership club. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel, just like Mads did as well. So now Mads gets to flex emojis in the chat. And we've got a lot of custom member content coming throughout the summer transfer window. A lot of BTS vlogs. That's the kind of stuff that you lot are going to get. So make sure you guys check that out when that drops. And if you want to support the channel in alternative ways to improve the quality and the output here of the content that I put out every single day, guys, I'm doing a stream and a video every single day. You can send in super chats with your comments, with your questions, with your thoughts, or just to show some love. And like I said, it goes a long way to supporting the channel. And hopefully I can fix my camera because it's really bugging out right now. But yeah, let's talk about, because this name has popped up again, and there's a part of me that just hopes. There's a real part of me that I don't know if it's wishful thinking. I don't know what it is. But if there is 1% faith, I have it. 1% faith. You guys know Victor Osimhen has been my preference for the best part of 2 years. Before we even signed Højlund. And I didn't have a channel back then. But before we even signed Højlund, I wanted Victor Osimhen. When he won the title with Napoli, or before they actually won it, I was like, United should go in for him, number one. Number two, when they won it, I thought, oh, he's going to cost a lot, but surely United can get him. Out of all the strikers in the market, if I could have my choice, it would be Victor Osimhen. Now, it is being reported that Al-Hilal are edging closer to signing him. It is being reported that Al-Hilal are edging closer to signing him, and they're bringing in Theo Hernandez, they're bringing in Inzaghi, they're bringing in Victor Osimhen, and now they're bringing in Ederson as well. If United could pull it off, I'm not going to say I'm going to stop Ineos slander, right? I'm not going to do that. But I'll let Ineos, like, I won't slander Ineos for 1 month. For 1 month, I will never, ever, ever say anything negative about Ineos. And big up to Mads, because she just gifted a membership. Let me see who actually finessed their way. Oh, Don F just finessed their way to a membership. Big up to Mads with the gifted membership. You are an absolute legend. But I'm not joking, guys. I'm not joking. If we get Osimhen, I will not. I'm trying to add some people in the chat as mods. I will not slander Ineos for 1 month. 30 days straight. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Laurie Whitwell has said that Manchester United have seen Osimhen's wages as prohibitive, but there could be a re-evaluation of the striker. Now, it's the 1% faith. 99% delusion, but 1% faith. Because I think out of all the strikers on the market, without a doubt, Osimhen is the best one that's available, right? And also for the transfer fee, because I don't think Napoli are expecting that 120 million, 130 million that they were expecting a couple of months ago. I don't think they're expecting that. But I do think the wage thing will be a hindrance to him. I think it will be a hindrance to getting a signing done for him. Do I think, by the way, guys, I said many times, Osimhen is the best striker in the market right now in terms of what Manchester United need. In terms of what Manchester United need, Osimhen is the best. The problem with Osimhen is his wages. He demands too much, but he's good. And there's a question to you guys: would you pay the wages that he's asking? It's been reported. I think it's been reported that he wants like 350 a week, in gross salary. I think that's the reported salary, and obviously that will hurt Man United's wage structure huge, especially the wage structure that Ineos are trying so hard to fix. Because if we look at, let's have a look at United's wage structure right now. Yeah, let's look at United's wage structure right now. Now, this is me being delusional because I'm going here to check to see if it could work. It's just delusion, right? It's the delusion that kills you. 350k pounds, yeah, around that much. Around 350k pounds. That is the approximation. That's basically what Casemiro earns. Bruno Fernandes got that last year when he got that little bumper contract when he wanted to leave, right? And we're going to revisit the Bruno Fernandes stuff because, like I said, he wanted to leave last summer. He was linked to, I don't know if you remember, he was linked to Real Madrid at the time. I don't know if there was an actual hardcore substance to that, but he was linked to that. And that statement of him wanting to play in top flight Europe, I don't know. Then you look at Mason Mount. For me is stealing a living, man. I'm looking at this thinking, how on earth does Mason Mount earn more than Harry Maguire, for example, who's been here longer? Well, who's Mason Mount's agent? Because he did a blinder. He really secured financial freedom for Mason Mount and his entire lineage to come, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Bloody hell. Luke Shaw is stealing a living. Mazraoui. So anything you guys can see in terms of people that we signed in the summer. No, Jadon Sancho, this is the half that Man United are paying, or the 60% that Man United are paying. Man United are paying 60% of his salary. So it's only showing 60% of that. Same with Marcus Rashford is here. Manchester United are paying a chunk of his. So it's there as well. So it's going to show as that. It's not going to show, because Man United are not paying Jadon Sancho 100% his salary. So it's only showing us their cut, right? But if you're looking at what United have done under Ineos, you see De Ligt, 195k, the most experienced player that they brought in the summer transfer window, and 195 is still, I don't know, I feel like it's still not a lot. Again, 195k would change my life. So if anyone wants to send in a 195k super chat, feel free to. But 195k, and maybe because we've been so used to people at Man United earning so much money, I'm thinking that's not even a lot, right? That is Matthias De Ligt. Nazir Mazraoui, another Ineos signing, 135k. Again, for his experience, his level of experience, and for the amount of football that he's played, that's not much. Who else did United bring in? Lenny Yoro, 115k for 1 year of first team experience and coming into this kind of pathway at Manchester United. That's the bit of money, but I still don't think 115 is a lot, given the fact, how does he earn more than Diogo Dalot? Damn. Whoever's Diogo Dalot's agents were like, they need to have a word, because that guy's been playing so much football for United, and you're telling me that everyone that came in under Ineos earns more than him. You shut down the channel after 190k super chat. I promise you I will. Just letting you know. I promise you, I will not shut it down. So if you want to send in, if anyone wants to send in that super chat, where's Nubian Pharaoh, man? I miss you. I feel like if I say Nubian Pharaoh 3 times, he might just pop up again. But yeah, so here's Anthony's loan spell that they're paying for as well, and Tyrell Malacia. So if you're looking at Ineos's wage structure, it's been between 100 to 200k basically for everyone that's joined under Ineos so far, which is why I'm intrigued to see what happens with Diogo Dalot. Not Diogo Dalot, sorry. I'm intrigued to see what happens with Matheus Cunha, and I'm intrigued to see what happens with Mbeumo as well, because a lot of people are talking about Mbeumo as if he's only joined Manchester United for the money. Like there is a lot of bitterness in the way that people are talking about United. Big up to Yo-Yo with the super chat. Says if we sign either Victors, you have to say one nice thing about Ineos a week for a month. It needs to be clear praise, not half-hearted praise. I'm not really that keen on Gyökeres. I like Gyökeres. But I'm not that keen. But okay, if we sign anyone between Gyökeres, the two Victors, basically, and Mateta, yeah, I will say one nice thing about Ineos once a week. I'll say one nice thing once a week. Cunha and Mbeumo get like 150 to 200. Yeah, I saw the reports that were saying that Cunha was getting 200k, which will make him one of the higher earners for sure. The reason why I'm saying that is because I can't lie, Casemiro, Bruno, I don't know where their future lies, right? I don't know where their future lies. So they might not, like, Casemiro might not be here this summer. Bruno, I don't even know. Koala says Gyökeres' first name is Victor. It is, right? Did I just make that up? I swear his name is his name is Victor. But Koala had me doubting myself. Koala actually had me doubting myself in terms of whether or not that's actually his name. While we're on the topic of strikers, let's talk about this guy here. There is some detail coming out from the Daily Mail, by the way. Nathan Salt at the Daily Mail. Let's talk about this guy here, because we're talking about strikers. Gonzalo Ramos, second time that his name has popped up. His name popped up yesterday. His name has now popped up again today. Reportedly, Manchester United have been offered Gonzalo Ramos by his agents. The 23-year-old has been deemed a surplus to requirements going forward at PSG. Not just him, I think Kang Lee is another player that is being told that he gets to go. They basically said to both of them, you don't need to go home, but you got to get the F out of here. And that's what's happening. Now, Gonzalo Ramos is one of those players, I think, that has not worked out at PSG. But before he joined PSG, he was a decent striker. But even with saying that, he still has more goals than Højlund. He still has more goals than Rasmus Højlund in the league, in the French league, despite the fact that he's played way less number of games. And he still has more goals combined this season. He's got, here you go, 18 goals, 6 assists in about 40 games across all competitions. How much GA is that? That is 24 GA in the season across 40 games. So 24 GA in 40 games, that's actually a decent return. That's better than half of Man United's forward line. That's better than Xerxes, better than Højlund's, is it better than Garnacho's? Yes, it is better than Garnacho's, 24 GA. But I know that a lot of people have this distrust with PSG because of Ugarte. PSG didn't force Man United to buy Ugarte. Let's just remember that. Man United wanted him. PSG never forced them to buy him. PSG never forced them to pay the price. They agreed to pay that price. But one thing I will say is that when PSG get rid of their players, yeah, because at Paris Saint-Germain, you know, it's like a revolving door. It's like a revolving door. Players come in, you crap, you leave. Bam. And they just keep doing it. Why? Because they got the money to do it. They got the money to be able to do that. They spent a huge amount of money on Gonzalo Ramos. They spent a huge amount of money on Gonzalo Ramos. They spent 65 million euros, which is around the price that they spent on Ugarte. They spent 60 million euros on Ugarte, right? And then they had add-ons, 15 million in add-ons. I know for sure those add-ons maybe those add-ons were actually reached because he won the Champions League and stuff. Now, I think the only reason why they deem him as a surplus to requirements is because the way that the team is going down, the path that they're going down under Luis Enrique don't really play with these kind of strikers, these tall kind of, traditional strikers. He don't do that. When I've watched PSG and Gonzalo Ramos has come on, he's come on to hold the ball up and just lay it off for his wingers and then just get into the box. And if they cross it in, then he tries to get onto the end of the header. And if they don't cross it in and they go for goal, he goes for the rebound. He's a guy that at PSG knows his role. But one thing is that for what they've probably paid and the role that they probably have for him, it's not worth it. It's probably not worth it. And in a summer where a lot of teams are looking for strikers, I think he's been linked to Saudi as well. But at this point, everybody's flipping been linked to Saudi. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. He is quite tall. He's he's 6'1". He's 6'1", which is quite tall. He just looks tiny. I don't know why he looks tiny. I don't know if you guys remember that World Cup that he just went off. Do you guys remember that? And I think they brought him off the back of that World Cup, if I'm not wrong. That's why you should never buy a player. They brought him off the back of the Qatar World Cup. That is why you should never buy a player off the back of a tournament. He's 6'1". Yeah, he's 6'1". He's 185. He's not really that much taller than me, guys. He's like 2 inches taller than me. That's crazy. He's only like 2 inches taller than me. I could play up front. The Sweden hat-trick sold people dreams. Donnarumma looks like he's 16 feet. Yeah, Donnarumma is tall, bro. He is a flipping giant. And I saw reports linking Donnarumma to Manchester United, but I just feel like, again, at this point of the season, I feel like everyone's linked to Man United. So I take everything with a pinch of salt. I'd rather Boniface. I don't think Boniface is coming to Manchester United. Mina's still on about her height. Yeah, come on. How tall are you? I'm really tall. I'm so tall, guys. I'm like nearly 6 foot. I'm so tall. I'm nearly 6 foot. Rasmus is 6'3" and gets treated like a rag doll. I don't think it has anything to do with height, because I've seen Ivan Toney badding up guys, and Ivan Toney isn't the tallest. He ain't a giant. I can't lie. I feel like really tall strikers are just not aesthetically. They don't look like strikers to me. When I think of strikers, I think of the likes of like Wayne Rooney and people that are not tall but they're not short. When I see strikers that are like 6'3", I'm like, why are you so tall, man? Bloody hell! What the hell? You should be in the NBA. You shouldn't be here playing in the Premier League. Talking of strikers, on the topic of strikers, Inter Milan have stepped up their interest to signing Rasmus Højlund. They have made contact with his entourage and want to ascertain a price from Man United over the coming days. That is coming from Daily Mail, sorry. Who the hell is Mail on Sport? Fabrizio Romano also yesterday reported that Inter Milan are interested in signing him. And Juve is another team that has been mentioned by other reporters, but it sounds like Inter Milan is the team that's most interested in him. Now, I wonder if it's dependent on the outgoings I wonder if it's dependent on the outgoings at Inter Milan, because they've got Arnautovic, they've got Taremi, they've got Thuram, they've got Lautaro Martinez. They've got 4 strikers. I think someone out of those strikers have to be leaving. Maybe Taremi is leaving. Inzaghi is meeting with Saudi today to finalize his move to go to Saudi. And Inter Milan have reportedly made direct contact with Højlund's camp in the last few days. Højlund is one of their main options. It does sound like it is a loan. Inter still owes money for Lukaku. I'm intrigued about this. I'm really intrigued about this Højlund move. Not because I think he's a bad. I don't think he's suited for United, right? But I've seen a lot of people saying, if he goes to Inter and he does well, this looks bad on United. No, it does. I don't think it looks bad on United. It just shows you that different players thrive in different environments. You know what my favorite saying is? The same water that boils a potato or softens a potato hardens an egg, which means that you can be in the same environment as someone else and your outcome and your experience might turn out to be different just because you're different. Like, that's it. Like, I don't think if Højlund leaves United and he goes and scores 25 goals for Inter Milan, I don't think it necessarily reflects bad on Manchester United. I just think that the environment at Manchester United was not for him. He was like the potato and we wanted him to be the egg. Did you get it, guys? Like, sometimes you're an egg, sometimes you're a potato. And, you know, in life, I'll always want to be the egg. I always want to be the egg because to have a hard shell. Like, you don't want to be the soft potato that just crumbles. Like, I drop you on the floor and you're splattered all over the place. And now I can't eat you. But if I drop the egg on the floor, just the shell breaks. I can still eat the egg. Do you get it? Do you get it, guys? It's all about environment. It's all about mentality. It's all like that. That's the way that I see it. Like, egg, potato, potato, egg, egg, potato, potato, egg. Do you want to be the egg or do you want to be the potato? That's how you have to ask yourself that. Hoyland has to ask himself that. Does he want to be an egg or does he want to be a potato? Because I know what I want to be. I want to be the egg. You know? And the egg boils quicker than the potato. It boils quicker. It doesn't taste better necessarily because I like potato more than I like egg. But it's probably even cheaper. Like, egg is even more expensive than potato, I think. I seen a box of egg in Costco the other day. The 32, I think it was a 24 or 32 pack. It was expensive as hell. It was expensive as hell. But the potato, it wasn't that expensive. And the potato has to go with other stuff. Egg, you can eat it by itself. Do you get it? So does Hoyland want to be the egg in the environment or does he want to be the potato? He has to think. He has to think. 5 seconds still applies. If you do 5 second rule, you're sick. The only place I do 5 second rule, not gonna lie, is in my house and in my mom's house. That's it. I don't do 5 second rule anywhere else. Not in this day and age. Not in this day and age. Sorry guys, I just went on a whole tangent about the egg and the potato. What if the egg is raw? My friend, the whole point of it is that the egg boils in water. Like, boiled egg is banging, guys. Have you ever had boiled egg? It's so nice. Eat it with ketchup. 10 out of 10. Boiled potato is nice as well, but I hate that it takes long to boil potatoes. Whereas eggs, boil it, bam, 15 minutes is ready. Bam, put some ketchup, bam, cut it in half, eat it, done. There's people out there that's eating like 8 eggs a day on TikTok. I've seen people eating 8 eggs a day, guys. How you eating 8 eggs in one sitting? What? Your farts must stink. Anyways, let's continue. Let's go back. Someone said that to the kids. Oh man. Okay, let's go. Let's go back. Sorry, let's go back. The feeling at Manchester United is that it's far more likely that Altay Bayindir departs rather than Andre Onana. United are open to offers for Rasmus Højlund, but interest in him is limited. Is limited to loans with options to buy. So it sounds like nobody really wants to buy him. It sounds like nobody really wants to buy him right now. Are you a good cook? I'm a great cook, guys. I should do a video for members one day of me cooking. Although I've seen a lot of people doing it on YouTube, like a lot of United fans doing it lately on social media of them cooking because United are that bad, so they're cooking. But I'm a great cook, guys. I'm gonna cook after this stream as well. I'm gonna make some. What am I gonna make? I'm gonna make some creamy pasta with chicken and some veg, something healthy. Gotta get the protein in as well. But I'm a great cook, guys. I'm a great cook. I think back on the topic of Højlund, let's try and get back onto track. Back on the topic of Højlund, as long as it's not in his court in terms of whether he leaves Manchester United, as long as it's not in his court and like the decision doesn't land on his shoulders, then I'm kind of all for him going on loan. I can't lie. I don't think anyone's gonna come in and pay a price for him. I don't think anyone's gonna come in and pay 30, 35, 40 million for him. And if you can drive up his valuation, absolutely. But one thing I am cautious of is the players going out in this window. Another player that's linked to a move is Antony. Antony is a target for Juventus, reportedly with contacts already taking place. Man United have to sell Garnacho, Rashford. Like, someone has to go for a big fee. The Man United can't afford to just be sending people on loan again. They have to get someone to go out. And if it is Garnacho and they sell Garnacho, then Man United will probably get a lot of money for Garnacho. I think they could get at least 40, 50 minimum. I think they can get 50 minimum for Garnacho. But someone has to go. Multiple players have to go. Especially due to, the situation with Jadon Sancho and how that's kind of unfolding. I'm not I'm not too sure if they're going to be able to get a good fee for him, then it has to be the case. It has to be the case that they sell someone for a good fee. And last but not least, Laurie Whitwell was saying, and I mentioned this earlier on, a new goalkeeper could come in this summer should Andre Onana leave, but as of right now, that position is lower on the priority list. So I mentioned this earlier about, Manchester United's goalkeeper situation and the future of Andre Onana, and I said, I don't see it being a priority. Personally, I don't see it being a priority for Manchester United. Not saying that I don't think it's a priority, but I'm saying I don't think Manchester United see it as a priority. I think there's a report here that said Amorim, here it is. Ruben Amorim is believed to want an athletic number 9 this summer. Strengthening in the wing-back area is also on the agenda, and this is all coming from Laurie Whitwell as well. They do a weekly sheet, transfer sheet on The Athletic, so I encourage you guys to check that out. If Man United want an athletic number 8 this summer and they want to strengthen in the wing-back position and they want to get a striker, I don't think goalkeeper's a priority for them unless Onana leaves. Onana's just convinced his Cameroonian teammate to come and join Manchester United. Well, I'm not saying he's responsible for Mbeumo joining Manchester United, but he's about to play with his teammate. I don't think he's in a rush to leave Manchester United. I don't think he's in a rush to leave. And unless he continuously gets dropped next season, maybe next summer he might look at leaving. Maybe next summer he might look at leaving Manchester United if, the manager doesn't have any confidence in him this season. I'm not going to lie. Personally, when you are dropped on the last day of the season for practically no reason other than the fact that it was reported that the manager didn't fancy you, I think that says a lot. The fact that he was dropped after the Lyon game, the manager Amorim packaged that as for his own mental well-being. I dropped him because I don't want him to, make another mistake and, the pressure be on him. But you're telling me the final game of the season, there's nothing to play for. The manager starting a strong 11 and he dropped Garnacho from the squad because of behavioural reasons. But he dropped you just for no reason and left you out of the matchday squad. That should say a lot, guys. Surely Onana and his entourage and his, agency team have to be looking at that and think, okay, this manager might be capable of leaving you out of the squad next season multiple times. You got AFCON coming up. Cameroon are also trying to qualify for the World Cup as well. So you have all these things to play towards for your national team. And you've already got a bumpy relationship with your Cameroonian football president and your manager. There's already a bumpy relationship. And you're telling me that your manager at your club is now dropping you. There's nothing to say that Onana might not start AFCON if Amorim is not playing him. There's nothing to say that. And that's why I'm thinking, how does Onana's team look at this and think, yeah, there's a future here? And just because, I'm not on the priority list of replacing, I'm safe. You're not safe. You are not safe. You are not. Maybe you're safe from being sold, but you're probably not going to play. Didn't Onana get dropped from national team for his brother? I don't know. Was it his brother that played ahead of him? I remember he ran, not ran, but he tried to get there quickly for AFCON, and then they dropped him in the final game. In the final game, I remember. Oh, it's his cousin. I remember they dropped him in the final game, and that was it. Life was back to reality for him. And it was also, Onana has a history of being dropped. Just like he has a history of dropping the ball, he has a history of being dropped. He was dropped in the World Cup in Qatar. He was dropped and sent home. He was sent home. And that's when he had a big fallout with the manager. I forgot what the manager's called, but the guy with the dreadlocks. Or was it the braids? I can't remember. Sorry, don't cancel me, guys. I can't remember. But he had long hair. And then he fell out with Eto'o. And then he fell out again. And so World Cup, you're telling me World Cup, you were dropped by your national team. Club and AFCON, you were dropped by your national team. Club, you've been dropped many different times. And the last time you were dropped, oh yeah, Song, there you go, Roberto Song, yes, that's it. And the last time you're telling me you were dropped by your club is for no reason. Is that not a bit embarrassing? Is that not a bit embarrassing? I would be looking at that and thinking, raw, Garnacho got dropped for a reason. What's the manager's reason to drop me? There is no reason. And no reason is even worse than a reason, I think. Yeah, he retired and then came back from retirement. He retired and then came back out of retirement, which was quite funny. I don't know where his future is. I think what's saving him right now is the fact that United have a lot of problems. And that's not necessarily a good thing. That is not necessarily a good thing, that United are not looking to sell you because they've got bigger fish to fry. That is a red flag. That, to me personally, is a red flag. But let me know you guys' thoughts. I think that's pretty much everything. The biggest, obviously, news coming out today is this guy here choosing to remain at Manchester United. I think that, well, actually, guys, this is what I wanted to say. Fabrizio Romano, in his statement, said that Bruno Fernandes has decided that he wants to stay in Europe and compete at top flight football. Nothing has been said that he wants to stay at Manchester United. And I'm not, well, I was going to say I'm not a conspiracist, but you guys all know I am a conspiracist. So I'm trying to read between the lines of that. And I'm trying to understand, okay, would he have been open to an offer? Say it came from another team, maybe like he went to Spain and maybe Atletico or something like that. Would he have been open to leaving Manchester United? And I genuinely think that he might have. He might have been up for that. He might have been up for that. That's just my opinion. Now, of course, I'm clutching at straws right now, but I'm just trying to read between the lines. And maybe we'll know more in the coming weeks. It is kind of funny though that he was on national team duty. He is on national team duty because I think Portugal are playing Germany tomorrow in the Nations League semi-final. So he is on national duty and has decided as a result of that, off the back of that is when his statement is going to come out. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. He believes that Amorim's project will take us to Europe next season. Maybe that could be the message to be interpreted from that he believes that Manchester United will be a top European team. He's only got 2 years left on his contract, plus one. There's no guarantee United will trigger that. So he could run down his contract for 2 years and then go. There's no guarantee right now. At the moment, we're just trying to figure it all out. We're just trying to figure it all out. But I'm really curious to see where this leaves Manchester United going forward in terms of this rebuild that we've been talking about so much. This rebuild where we're saying United need to bring in X number of players, etc., etc., etc. Where does that leave them now that Bruno has decided that he's not going to Saudi? Because Mbeumo was not directly linked to Bruno, but there was potential in the transfer window that reportedly is linked to departures. Not just Bruno, but Bruno is the biggest transfer fee they can probably get. I don't know. We gotta wait and see. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I need to sort out my camera this week because I can't keep letting it glitch on stream and then I have to swap to this. Or I need to get a new camera. I have my eye on a new webcam, so I need to get that because I don't like this quality. I like the HD 4K quality that I try to do on videos and streams as often as possible. We needed to cash in. I want to know if the sentiment is going to change around Bruno the more the season goes on. Like, are we going to go into the season and everyone's going to be like, this is why we should have sold him? 100%. 100%. People are going to go into the season and be like, this is why we should have sold him, when he makes one error, one misplaced pass, etc., etc. That's definitely going to happen. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I told you guys, daily streams, daily dose of minute, even on the weekends. You guys are spoiled. Even on the weekends, daily streams, daily videos as well, drop in Manchester United and non-Manchester United. Go check out a video I just dropped on Ryan Cherki. I dropped a video yesterday night just after the Mbeumo news. So make sure you guys check that out as well. Big up to everyone as well that's been here. We're not that far from 150 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button on your way out. If there is any breaking news tonight, I will be live. We got some great shows coming up, guys, over the weekend, inshallah. Got Liban from SDS on the channel. We're doing a pre-record on Saturday. So we're going to be talking all things transfer, all things Amorim, because he's a big Amorim fan. So we're going to talk about that. And like I said, if there's any people that you want me to bring on the channel throughout the transfer window, let me know. Alice, Flex, KG, etc. If there's any other rival fans that you want me to bring on, let me know. But hit the like button on your way out, guys. Big up to everyone that stuck around. Big up to everyone that sent in the super chat. We did it, guys. 15K. Next step, 16K. I'm out, guys. Hit the like button. Peace.